I realized I landed at the time of Corona. And that's one thing which was taken away from me by nature, right? That you don't have now business in place, business establishments are closed, and one fine day I was really difficult day for me. And I said, what did I do? Did I do right? And I said, now I've come back, my door is closed there, and my only one door is kitch.in, and I have to make this happen. And that day I was very emotional.
Hello and welcome to Turning Point. If our profession is a passion as well, then we don't have to work a single day in our life. We have today with us a very interesting personality who has changed her profession and got into a line which is a big passion for her. Mrs. Priya Deepak, welcome to Turning Point. It's a very interesting line of business that you have. Our viewers would like to know your background on that. What is it? How did you start? Where did your journey start from?
Yeah. So I always tell my journey always started with my life with my parents. So I'm a real army brat.
Oh, okay.
So I've lived in most of the states of India and traveled across and met lots of people, met a lot of cultures, and always loved different food. Because when we are in army, we never think about different religion and cultures and everything. So we really imbibe everything, and that's where all this journey started. My father was a big foodie also. He used to cook very well, and so I think my whole personality was born out of his and my mother's. The way they brought me up, being very open, being very always did what I like to do, and I would always tell that my likes were always, I was a very sports, person in my younger days in my school. So if I wanted a high jump, he would make a high jump facility in the house. So it was always that motivation I got from my parents. And then it continued to my husband, thankfully. And he was like always, you do what you like. And my boys were always there. But I think it was just my days after I got married very early, just after my graduation. I continued my MBA after that. I'm actually a diet and nutrition. I did my home science degree, okay. And then accidentally landed up. It's all accidentals, okay? So I accidentally landed up in IT. So I was identified one of my old bosses saying that, I think you should do this, and then I learned with him and picked up some of the skills in quality in software. And then I built my career with that and then moved to management. That is also another boss who felt that I'm very good with people and you don't need technology to be managing people. You know how to do, that's your best. And that's how I also did my coaching accreditation in Period of Life. And then I moved on, and then one day accidentally I meet a friend who says that let's do this, right? And then we started this long back as a partnership firm. It was called Village Fair then in 2015.
When was this?
It was about 5 years back.
Right.
And at that time I'm still working. I have this is never thought, and I've never thought that I will ever do business. I always thought I will, stop working one day after IT, and then I don't know what I'll do after that. So I really did not have any other thoughts in my mind. And this happened, and we started creating that, and she moved on out of the business. And then one fine day, I have to think how I should take this forward.
So if I may just interrupt you there and just take you back, what was the turning point where you decided to stop being an IT professional and take up this as a new profession?
So it was a journey for me. It started basically 5 years back when I started this. At that point, I don't think I was in that mode that I would go out of my IT work. I'll continue doing this because I don't know. I liked the thing to do, but maybe personally as a person, I don't come from a business family. It was not very easy for me. And it took some time, but the last 1 year has been the most difficult time of my life, where personally I want to just detach from my older profession and imbibe this full time, because I was last 3 years I've been doing this actually full time both. right? I would work about 2 to 3 in the morning because this work is also happening and my morning day job. And because the trouble was for me, the most difficult was that I liked the other job also very much.
All
And
right.
I was loved in that job by my,
So it
my
was
team
not
member.
that you were fed up or you
No.
burnt out at a point in time and you wanted
Absolutely,
a
that
new.
was the most difficult thing for me because I love both doing, but I decided I need to decide which is the best. What, not the best, what I want to do and what I love to do.
So
And maybe which is
what was it that triggered that passion? I mean, what was it about this line of work
yeah
that
it's
made you take
yeah
that call?
yeah I think it was the one day one of the times which I always remember is one of the chechis when I was changing over to private limited and making all this, and she said, I don't know chechi, madam, whatever you want to do, name whatever you name, we are with you. You know, we do not worry about whether it's called this or that. We are there with you. And this was always hitting on my mind, right? There are people who are believing in me and I am not able to make this decision to just move out. And then I think one day we went for an exhibition, myself, my son and husband, both of us were there in October. I remember very much. And he told me, I think it's a time for you to make this call. And Amma, you do this full time. What are you doing? Right? You should do this full time, because he saw this is the first time he came back after, and he said, you should be doing this full time. What is making you to stop this? And I was like, I went back, resigned.
So that was the point of reflection.
Absolutely.
Which when your husband and your son told you
Yeah.
that why don't you take
Yeah,
this
it
up
was.
full
I
time?
needed that. I needed.
You needed that push.
I needed that one acknowledgement that yeah, we are there with you.
Was
Go
it
ahead.
because you were worried about whether you will get a family support? Was that in your back of your mind?
Yes. Also, it was not family support because I always got that. It was always that, to do something, I want to do, make it sure that it really sustainable. It should not be something with the emotion I'm doing it. And always, I think because I was not young, with so much of experience, this was always hitting. Think about it, make a wise decision, and it should be good for not only for your own passion, but it's also for so many people who are dependent on you. Like my whole ecosystem of chechis and manufacturers, artisans are dependent on me to run this business, and I should not do something on a very, in a hurry burry and come back. And I wanted to make it happen, but then one day I realized that's not going to happen. Everything won't be like ready and then you switch. You have to decide your options. And
So how was the initial groundwork which you did? How did you identify these chechis who are going to
Right.
do this, the
Yeah.
artisans, the process
Yeah.
in terms of right from the product where you identify
Right,
and get
right.
this done? How did you go about all that?
So it was also a journey that it didn't happen just one fine day. We started with one chechi to do seasoning, and then her family group, everyone in the women joined in. It was 1, then 3, then 5, and then 10 and 15, and now we can scale to 20 whenever we have stock more coming in. And
So there are 20 women who are basically doing this full time.
yeah, not full time.
Oh,
So in this, some of them run full time, some of them have their own part-time jobs, and they come back after that and sit. And the beauty of this is that they have to do it in their homes. They have their own families around it.
So work from home for them.
For them, and it's not. Still we have many women who cannot go out and do work because they have kids at home, they have elders at home, and they find extremely difficult to do something. And this was one of the opportunity for even elders to make a substantial amount, because they know this art much better than the younger girls. So they were the ones who taught the whole group. And so I always say this is another a venture for the elderly women to make a financial. So our group has a mix of elderly women and young girls and middle-aged women who does
So
this.
what are the products that are in your portfolio? How many SKUs do you have?
We have about 200 SKUs. So definitely why I'm saying 200, because a china chatti or kadhai will have about 4 versions. So we have cast iron, clay, bronze, stone, bamboo, wood, copper, and all of these have different designs. Like we have dosha color, we have kadais, flat bottom, non-flat bottom. We have upper chatti, unni upper chatti, which is called or paniyarams in other states, and we have skillets to do all your to your frying pan things related. In a non-stick, what they call frying pan, it's called skillets, and so everything. The good about the cast iron is it can go to oven, it can be in gas or in induction also if it's a flat bottom. So these are the products which
Obviously,
we have.
health is a major element.
That's the most crucial part of this cookware is that today's kitchen has lots of toxic cookwares in the kitchen. There is lots of education today about many people that they should replace this with a more safer, and that's where we are seeing a good response from people not only in India, from abroad. So right now our business, our website is enabled to take orders from anywhere in the world. So, and we are seeing that people are ready to pay the shipping charge and take this. So that's the importance. People see the benefit
The shipping
of
charge
it.
would be more costly than the product itself.
That's where today is, but still there are people takers who are taking it, and that speaks about the product, about the health benefits, and just not that, economy also. Like you have to buy one non-stick, you have to buy maybe 40 non-sticks in your journey of kitchen. You have to buy just one non-stick of similar, like a pan here, and the benefit of buying is almost same cost, maybe a little bit more in this case of our cookware, but then you don't have to buy often. So that's also another aspect apart from buying for the health reasons, which is the most important aspect.
So what are the challenges you have faced in this journey, in your transition and the running of this business for the last 5 years? What are the challenges?
So it's a totally bootstrapped start when it started. That means it was very much lower, 5,000 rupees investment done to buy the products, and then from there we scaled to today to this. And in every journey, wherever there is a growth, that growth happens, there's a struggle of working capital, and always that's been amazed that we will have something or the other coming which will give us that then push to move to the next graph, to move ahead. But that's almost I would say would have been the most difficult part of it. Apart from that, I have never found difficulty having any challenges in Kerala. So people do say so that how do you do business in Kerala, and I've been been very, very happy that I chose to be my home state to this Kerala. So apart from that, I haven't seen a major challenge, because we being a very smaller company, but now being called one of the best cookware companies of India, there is always we have to be providing the best cookware and reaching on time, and we also have to manage our whole back end along with that with a very small team.
So today your market is pan-India and abroad as well?
Yes.
And you mainly market it through your
We also do through
site?
our website. We also are the niche seller of Tata Click. So our cookwares are part of their collection, Tata Click Indelex collection. We are also part of Jaipur and other site. Then of course the marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart. And we are soon going to be in supermarkets of some of the in Chennai and in Kerala also.
Great.
And of course, we do have a huge clientele in restaurants also. So Taj Bangalore has some of our products. We had initially brought in some cast iron products from one factory only. And then there was, after some time, customers started saying that, do you have this design? Do you have this design? Do you have this design? And then I had to then think, okay, one factory will not help me, and they also have the constraints of making only that. And then so I went around searching for different factories in parts of different India, and trying to get the products, test it out, see if it all works well. Does it meet what we are saying is quality products? And that's where we got in almost everything in cast iron from different factories, different designs. So there's a variety to customers to buy from.
So what's next for Kitch.in? How do you see Kitch.in maybe 10 years from now?
So Kitch.in will definitely become, a one-stop solution for anyone to buy a natural cookware. That is, we are, I think, almost there today. In India, we are the only hand-seasoned natural cookware company in India, and maybe I'm not sure about anywhere in the world. So no one does hand seasoning and gives it. Every does factory seasoning and does. And so we definitely see that that we remain there and provide that quality to everyone. We also want to be there in everyone's kitchen, right? Today we may not be there. Our reach is very limited due to different reasons of marketing and other things. But we know that we will be there known as to everyone. So I think because today of people not knowing us is that we are not able to reach the kitchen. So that in next 10 years, I think that will definitely be, that we will be known as one of the cookware. People can talk to us and reach out to us and buy from us. Definitely we want to be supporting many more artisans, many more Chechis like this. So I might create Chechis group like this in different states. My idea is that not to maybe that local businesses and local women groups or or artisans are benefited out of that, because they know the art of their culture very well than we would know that. So that would be also next 10 years our journey to us. Personally, I would want to be a person whom I can share my experiences to many women who want to do something or who are doing something but are not able to take that plunge to step out and make it big. And I've already been in consulting with many of the people who call me up and say, what should we do? We don't know how to do this logistics. How do I set up my website? Is it too costly, Priya? How do we get it done? So these are small things. I continued giving that. Recently, a women's group, Kannur Women's Group, has approached me asking me to be their mentor, to help the women in their group to solve their problem of what should we do. They don't have answers and they really want an answer from someone who has done it. And I thought that's something which I love to do it and I want to do it.
So what would be your suggestion to women who find it difficult to take that decision to move away from a steady job and would like to follow a passion, a hobby or a profession which they want to take up? What would you suggest to them?
So I think you have to take your passion and your and making it happen also both together. So sometimes passion doesn't always convert into a really so make your business or your enterprise something which can give an output. Because unless you have a proven output, especially for people who have been working and have a very steady income, and to step out and come this, you might fail the other passion which you have. So you need to make sure your passion is really grown to a segment where you can actually then take off from there. And it can only happen that when you are having that that conviction that I will make this happen, right? I think you have to think that I don't know, whatever will happen, and you will not always get everything right? Like I remember when this is an example I always give. When I decided to leave my job in December and come back in February after all my notice period and everything, I realized I landed at the time of Corona. And that's one thing which was taken away from me by nature, right? That you don't have now business in place. Business establishments are closed, and one fine day, I was really difficult day for me. And I said, what did I do? Did I do right? And I said, now I've come back, my door is closed there, and my only one door is Kitch.in, and I have to make this happen. And that day I was very emotional. I remember having almost fight with everyone in the house, saying that, I don't know, I'm going to do only this and I'll make it happen. And I started doing a lot of videos on food, talking about the Kitch, and talking about our products. And I knew that time people were only watching food channels and people were only seeing Facebook's post on, and everyone was doing only cooking. And I think it helped. it helped me that 1.5 months of lockdown, I only did, because I could not do anything. I could not sell. I only could do the things which, and I think that was the day I realized that if you follow it, it will happen, but you have to make the whole ecosystem also almost ready in place to take it off.
Folks, you've seen a challenging environment, how that has been changed into a positive, remunerative one. A passion can be followed, but these points which she has raised about being persistent, working on it, will ensure that you, when you move into your next profession, that will be a profitable and enriching experience for you. Thank you so much for your time, Priya.
Thank you so much.